And welcome everyone to an America East preseason chat. Pleased to be joined by Vermont's John Becker. No surprise, the Catamounts picked to win the America East. It is just on paper, no games yet. But John, what does it mean to be the favorite yet again in this conference?
I mean, yeah, it's always flattering to be picked to win the league. You know, like you said, it doesn't really mean anything. And this year with 7 new players, I'm a little surprised, but you know, we've had a pretty, we've won 6 straight regular season titles. So I think that's what our expectation is. And you know, I'm sure it's out of respect a little bit.
So roster management has been a major issue at all levels of Division I. How have you handled it?
Yeah, like I said, we had 7 scholarships to fill, really 8 scholarships to fill, all after the season last year. So we were fortunate. We really liked the 7 guys. We got 4 freshmen, 3 transfers. So, you know, kind of rebuilding our front court with only 1 returning front court player, Nick Fiorello. So that was the focus of our offseason, along with getting another guard to kind of replace Benny Shungu's production. And we think we've done that with Dylan Penn. So we're really happy with it. But it's a lot of people, like you said, are going through this. It's just a lot of newness.
But to that point, I feel like at first the transfer portal the anticipation was always only going to go one direction. We're seeing it, you know, up, down, sideways, peer to peer. What's your take on the ability still to fill those holes, whether you're reaching from a league that's perceived to be above or one that's comparable?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's been interesting as we get farther down the road with the transfer portal. I think it's maybe in some ways kids are ending up where they should be, and like you said, we have recruiting battles with quote unquote higher conferences and us, kids looking for different want to play at quote unquote a higher level, and we've seen some of those kids come down to us. We've had some kids transfer out that have gone to Division II, and so and then there's kids that just don't end up anywhere. Too many kids that just don't end up anywhere. So it's been interesting, and I think it's been good for everyone.
All right, so what's in the water in Burlington? Why have you consistently produced Player of the Year candidates and Player of the Year winners?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question, but I think one thing, we've had continuity up here with my staff and with our players. Guys aren't leaving their freshman or sophomore years if they're not playing as much as they want or having a role that they want. And winning helps that, helps to have, as a coach, have credibility with those guys. And they tend to be a little bit more patient here. And, as they get older, their roles change. And we've been really fortunate to have, like you said, the last 6 Player of the Years have come out of our conference. 3 different players have won it twice. And those guys have all gotten better, all, waited their turn, so to speak. And my assistants do a great job of evaluating and developing players.
All right, last thing, John, specifically on the court, what has to go well for Vermont to finish first at the end of the year, not just tab number 1 here at the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, I think what we're trying to get to is we've been very consistent, no matter who the players have been, of being a very good defensive team, a very cohesive team, offensively, an unselfish team, and really efficient on both sides of the ball. A lot of, that's from players being in the program for a while. That's for the COVID years and just being older, like we've been the last 5-6 years. And so the challenge this year is just getting the 7 new guys to look and feel like Vermont basketball players. And that's the process that we're in right now. We have a very challenging non-conference schedule. We'll be on the road for 11 straight games. We'll be on the road for after opening it up against Brown and ending it, our non-conference with Toledo. So we'll have adversity. I think that's going to be the other storyline, just how we handle that early season adversity with a lot of tough games on the road. And hopefully by the end of the year, we're playing our best basketball. But the last 5 years, I've known what our team was going to be. This year, there's a lot more. You just haven't been to battle with these guys yet. So I'm very confident and optimistic. We're going to have another great year, but we're putting in that work right now. We're really in the beginning of the process.
John, I appreciate it. And I know we'll talk throughout the course of the season. Thanks.